Welcome to Chapter 1, Lesson 3. We're going to talk about multiplying and dividing monomials. If you've been keeping up with your notebook, we are on page 6, and we're going to change up today how we look at our notes. Instead of using the two columns, we're going to start with just looking at the vocabulary. There's only one vocab term for this lesson, so we're going to go ahead and start with it, and then we'll get into the types of problems you guys are going to see. We're going to first talk about a monomial. A monomial is a number of variable or a product, meaning they're being multiplied, of a number and a variable. Or variables. It can be more than one. You guys have seen examples of this before. Essentially, examples of monomials could be just the number 5. It could be 5x. It could be 5x, y, z. Those are examples of monomials. You've seen this before when solving equations, when you're asked to maybe find or identify terms in an equation or expression. Those are made up of monomials. Let's start off with the product of powers. When you multiply powers with the same base, all you need to do is add the exponents. So here's our first example of that. We have 5 squared times 5. First thing to remember is that when we have a number by itself, if there is no exponent written there, then that exponent is really a 1. Therefore, we're going to take 5, and its new exponent will be made up of 2 plus 1, giving me the answer of 5 cubed, or to the 3rd power. Now, we know how to solve that. We could figure out what 5 cubed is. Well, that is 5 times 5 times 5, which we've had many examples of, is just 125. So again, all we did was add the exponents. Let's take a look at a second example. Put it over here. It's going to say negative 3x squared times 4x to the 5th. So let's take a look. We're multiplying this together. And in the front, I have 2 coefficients. Well, I know how to multiply -3 times 4. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to look at the variable. Both of those have the variable x as their base. So I'm going to add the exponents of 2 and 5. And then we'll go ahead and simplify what we know. We know -3 times 4 is -12. And then I can go ahead and write my x and look at my exponents. 2 plus 5 is 7, leaving me with my answer of -12 times x to the 7. Now, I want to put an example on here for you guys to try. So this is going to be a you try problem. Look at the problem, -2m times -8m to the 5th. What I would like you to do is pause the video, try the problem, and restart the video. So pause it, try it, press play, and see if your answer matches mine. All right, so let's take a look at it. First, we're multiplying, and in the front of each of these pieces, I have a coefficient. So I'm going to go ahead and start by multiplying the coefficients together. And now I'm going to look at the like bases of the m. Since I'm multiplying, I'm going to look at the exponents and add them. That -2m is actually an m to the first. And I have m to the 5th. And now I'm going to simplify. -2 times -8 is +16. And 1 plus 5 is 6. So our final answer is 16 into the 6th. Next is going to be quotient of powers. For quotient, we are now dividing. And when you divide powers with the same base, simply subtract the exponents. I already have the first example set up. 5 to the 7th divided by 5 cubed. In order to find that answer, I would take the 5 and then subtract the exponents. Well, 7 minus 3 is 4, so I get 5 to the 4th, and that is something we could find. As a bit of a practice, we know 5 to the 3rd is 125, so if I want to find 5 to the 4th, I'm going to multiply that by 5. Let's see, 25, carry the 2. 10 plus 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6. So my answer is then 625. Let's look at a slightly bigger example. So when you're asked to do some of these problems, you're going to find that it has multiple different pieces, and you're going to have to perform a division for different pieces throughout the problem. So the numerator, or the first part of my division, is 2/5 times 3/5 times 5 squared. And that is being divided by 2 squared times 3 to the 4th times 5. The way you want to look at this is simply to focus on like bases. So let's go ahead and simplify this down, and then we'll solve it. I'm going to start with the like bases of the 2. It's 2/5 divided by 2 squared, so I will subtract 5 minus 2 for my new exponent. Next will be the 3. That is now 5 minus 4 for my new exponent. And finally, the 5. Let's see, 5 squared divided by 5. My new exponent will be 2 minus 1. To continue, let's go ahead and simplify those exponents. 5 minus 2 makes 2 to the 3rd. 5 minus 4 equals, or makes 3 to the 1st, or just 3. And 2 minus 1 means that 5 also has an exponent of 1. We can find that 2 to the 3rd power, 2 times 2 times 2 would be 8. And I'll bring down my 3 and my 5. All this is multiplication. And my final number, 8 times 3 times 5, would be 120. So we simplified that problem down so that we could multiply easier. So next is going to be a problem for you to try out. Let's take a look. So you're going to try this next one. You're going to try 5 to the 6th times 7 to the 4th times 8 cubed divided by 5 to the 4th times 7 squared times 8 squared. So, as before, pause the video, attempt the problem, and then come back and check out the answer. In order to simplify this so we can make our math a little easier, 5 to the 6th over 5 to the 4 means I need to take 6 minus 4 for my new exponent. The 7, I need to do 4 minus 2 for the new exponent. And the 8, I need to find 3 minus 2 for my new exponent. That means I have 5 squared times 7 squared times 8 that means 25 times 49 times 8. Multiplying that together, I get my final answer of 9,800. I'm going to give you 2 extra practice problems to attempt on your own. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to ask you to pause the video, copy down the problems, try them for yourself, and start the video, and I will post full solutions to see how you did. So, your 2 problems are, so first one, 6 n cubed times 4 n cubed m squared. And the second one will be x to the 10 divided by x cubed. All right, pause the video and try these out for yourself. And here are your solutions.